Okay, moving on, we have some exciting things happening for board games with Betrayal Legacy. Ben, what's happening here?
Cool, yeah. So this was announced, I think it was towards the end of last year, but Betrayal Legacy, which is Betrayal at the House of the Hill, was a massive favourite with us, and it's a big, huge, fantastic gateway game for a lot of people. But now one of the new games that's come out is Betrayal Legacy, and this takes the formula of the original games, where you're sort of doing that kind of like Scooby-Doo mystery style thing, going around a house trying to solve all kinds of different strange hauntings, and adding a legacy mechanic into the mix. Now you're going to be playing as individual families that were all affected by the house in some way up until the modern day, and you're going to be playing through each of these different scenarios and setting up the history and the sort of all the different strange goings on that happened in this house between each of these different scenarios, and then eventually producing a game that you can play on that's very, very unique to you, a little bit like what we saw with Risk Legacy back in the day, where you kind of played through a whole bunch of different legacy games and then you had a game to play Risk on at the very end. This kind of thing does the same thing, where you play through a whole bunch of different individual scenarios that sort of build up the story for your house, and then at the very end you get to sit down and play through games of Betrayal at the House of the Hill on your own unique board, which I thought was really cool. It's done by the guys that are all behind a lot of these legacy games, so Rob Davio's involved in all that kind of thing as well, which is really good to see. And I just love the idea of this, and especially since I've been watching, I think it's The Haunting of House Hill,
Yes.
which is on Netflix at the moment, and so playing a lot more games that are all about hauntings and spooky things is very cool to me. Yeah.
I've got to say, I'm really excited for this one. I love Betrayal at a House on the Hill. It's a really fun game, but I'm a little confused how they're going to work legacy elements into a game focused like that, when the main draw of Betrayal at House on the Hill was each time you played it, you didn't know who the traitor was going to be. How are you going to do that with characters who carry over?
Yeah. Well, the same kind of thing is going to happen between each of the different scenarios, where each of the different families that are affected by the house will have a certain sort of scenario that's played out, and within that family, one of you will be the traitor. The hidden traitor mechanic is still going to be happening in the sort of the mix of all that. But then that's just going to translate across, I think it's, I believe it's like 13 chapters, plus a prologue as well. So you're going to be playing as each of these different playing through each of these different times with the same kind of traitor mechanic that you've seen in Betrayal at the House on the Hill normally. But then the whole idea of this is it starts to weave together this entire story of the house and how it came to be the place that it is now, that you play through all your games in. So they're still going to have some interesting mechanical stuff going on in the background for that.
I suppose with it being divided up into families and chapters, you don't need to worry too much about this is what's happened, this is our legacy, because that's the family that we're here at this time. They're all gone now. A new family moves in.
And it'll have some carryover into the next scenarios that you play through, but it'll still very much feel like self-contained games with a sort of overlying narrative as well. So
yeah, because the star of this show is the house,
Yes.
not the family.
Definitely.
So.
Have you played Betrayal at House on the Hill before?
No.
That is one we're definitely making you play at some point, because that is so much fun. And I get the feeling, Jerry, you would turn into the slide on those.
See, the problem I have with games like this is, with the group I play with, anytime there's any chance for anybody to be backstabbed, everybody immediately turns on me on grounds to get the retaliation in first. So any sort of betrayal game like this just means I'm going to get nuked in the first couple of minutes.
Well, in the first half, no one knows who the traitor is, including
Won't stop
the
them.
traitor. It's a cooperative game at the start.
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah.
They'll steal all your stuff, Jerry.
They'll be cooperatively deciding how best to absolutely neuter me for the rest of the game. So if we all get together now, take his stuff, push him in the bath, we can off him at our leisure later on.
Now, do you mean that in the game, or is that...
Bit of column A, bit of column B.
Yeah, LARPing Betrayal at House on the Hill, I like it.